we discuss charts of account, and we discuss and define the charts of account into the system, and we discuss currency, and we discuss calendars. And we are going to start. There was a question last day that there was question, what was that of this point? That skipped from mind. Question, anyone can.
Was that the question about the fiscal rate, June and July? So I asked yesterday, so why is this June and July? I was trying to understand actually.
What happened? So what happened in the corporate world? Many companies are public limited companies, and their months basically started from 1st of July, and whenever that month will be in between the months of it, then they say that our period will be 1st of June or June to July 2024, that is 2024-20. This is our period now. So reason behind that, although that month is 12 months is there, but point is that they are taking up this 2 years, basically 1 year, but in a 2 years time period, because they consider that because they are the public limited companies and their shareholders, to put up those areas of dividend as well. They utilize 2 years. 2 years means mid of June and the 31st of July. The first 6 months and next 6 months, basically. So for that reason, the companies always cover it up their dividends. Dividend being the first month, 6 months of last 6 months of previous year and the first 6 months of next year. They are basically taking the months and consider that their transaction. We cover it up in that area. For that reason, they basically start their period from 1st of July to June, 1st of July to 30th June.
Couldn't catch it. Why they say July to June for the public limited? Do they need it like that? Or sorry, I didn't get that point.
Public limited companies, normally what happens, they have to distribute their dividend, and dividend is the income. To cover up their income and transactions, they are taking last 6 months of their first year and the next 6 years, not 6 years, 6 months of next year. For that reason, they are considered their months to have it. For example, there is another business, but not the corporate. There are seasonal business. Seasonal means that, for example, in India or in Pakistan, if they need to have a food processing business, orange food processing. So orange is a seasonal product. What they do, they started their period from 1st of November and that lasts at 30th May, 6 months. Normally 5 to 6 months. Because that business is covered up that season where they have maximum oranges in that area. So they consider that their months or the period would be last 2 months of the year and next 5 months of the next year. So that is basically nature of business. So that's why the public limited company, same way, started their period from 1st of July. That's a major reason. But point is, whenever they make this month, system flexibility is there that they can say that, okay, fine, you can start your business from 1st of July and you can design your fiscal schedule. In other ERP system, they name it this period as a fiscal schedule, but if a business started from 1st of Jan to 31st of December, they call it not fiscal, but call it only a calendar or standard calendar. Both names are not really used. And if you Google it this.
Yeah, here we have the federal, same like federal we have, start from October 1st to September 30th.
Yeah, this is another good example of federal are taking this way. But 90% companies opt fiscal, started for 1st of July and with 30th June. Okay. So now here in my case, I used standard intervals from Jan to December, where my closing year would be December and my first calendar concept. Now we can take the convention here. So what is convention? In other words, it's called accounting convention. Then explain what is the convention idea.
It's like constraints or rules for the financial transactions. That's what I had read it from Google. Rules or details of the.
Let me explain you.
It's guidelines or rules that helps accountants record and report transactions, financial transactions.
Google is very easy, no doubt. But point is, if you Google the things immediately, you got the answer. Okay, that is the very easiest one. So, but normally, if you go with the concept, right now you have answered my point in a very quick way. But this basically not it will not be remember you now. Why is it so? You have in your mind that Google will give you the answer. Sorry, but it is true. I'm doing the same thing sometimes. But let's discuss the convention.
You're
Convention
breaking
is
no? It's from here.
no, just a comment. So convention is basically the way you treat your transactions files. For example, there is a Samsung launch S25 Ultra. Now this headset is right now, for example, $3,000. Now this is a new phone in the market, and you go to the departmental store, and in departmental store you like this phone, and then you wanted to purchase it or you wanted to buy it. What happened? You will pick up the phone and take it to the counter and ask the recipient that I want to buy this one. So he would say that you need to pay $3,000. Now, paying this amount into $3,000. So if you have a cash in your hand, then obviously you pay it. But if you don't have it, then you will pay through credit card. There's another option. Meaning that $3,000, if you pay it to the departmental store, the transaction will be end up here. There is no liability on you. You take the phone, department store will receive the cash and transaction completed. But in case the credit card would be, then you will swap the credit card and departmental store will take the cash from bank, and bank will give you some time, like for 1 month, to pay this amount, $3,000. Although this transaction ends for the department store on spot because he will claim on the same day and bank will pay this amount to department store. But till 30 days, next 30 days, the transaction stands, and even more if you will not pay to the bank. Meaning that this kind of transactions are your credit transactions, and that will not end. If you will pay late, then you need to pay interest fee. Like that is $300, and next month another $300. For next month that might be $500. So that until unless that transaction not be completed, this always remain open, and that transaction called credit. So in accounting or finance, we have two types of transactions. One is cash, another one is credit. And that credit or the cash transactions called by convention. It means that your business will accept both type of transactions. Either it is credit or either it is cash. What happened that if you have a trust company, trust always run on the cash basis, never on the very rarely they are using the credit. But the public limited companies or LLC or private companies, all of them use credit and cash both. In Workday, you can select this credit and cash transactions, that which transaction would be credit and which would be cash. So this one I will explain or I will update you in the system later on. There is another concept of meanwhile that is there, that is called tenant setup. So what is a tenant setup? In the tenant setup, we will cover it up this or accounting convention, sorry, where I will, if there is a segregation and specifically I need a cash basis, then I can use or change update the tenant setup in here.
So this tenant is different from the tenant which we are having the Workday. I mean, same. Okay. Tenant setup. Yeah. I mean, whatever the convention setup that will be done in the tenant setup.
Okay, I am going to explain you tenant setup. What is a tenant setup means? Okay, basically what happened whenever a system is given to you as an implementer, okay, you have to make the tenant setup as well. Not only for convention, for other areas as well. Okay, so tenant basically is made a setup on the finance basis, HCM basis, payroll, and other as well. Whatever that the license you will have it, and it's your first implementation or first time implementation. or if there is any change happen, for example, I want to implement for HCM. Earlier, that was 2 years back, I made it HCM. Now today I am going to have a finance. So I need to make a tenant setup as well. This is a part of setup, but we will cover it up. I don't want to right now. Tenant, it's here. You can see that added tenant setup financials. If you want to make with the financials, added tenant setup notifications. If I will show you in a while, just to show you that we have multiple options here based on the access. It has not been available for everyone, only the access. So, but I recommend to the student never change this one to the test environment because it will impact all the users that currently we are using. For example, I'm going to add it tenant setup. So here you can see that this tenant setup name is CEGNADPT1. And here for the business documents sequence ID, we have this setup. And if I go down the business entity document projects, so this setup for budget, projects, defaults, customer contracts, procurement, a lot of informations here that we have to make this setup. So here we can see that cash basis accounting, that what I want to show you. So this is cash basis accounting, and that accounting would be book code for cash basis accounting, book code for accrual accounting. Accrual accounting is my credit basis, cash basis on that we have it. So if you want to make a setup specifically for the basis of your accounting, then you have to define your book code. Book code is just like if you are a finance guy, then we have concept of IFRS or GAAP. So GAAP is global accounting, global stand for global accounting. Okay, let me take now Google. I need to Google it now because this is now it's IFRS. It's an accounting standards. IF International Financial Reporting Standards, and GAAP is my General Accepted Accounting Principle, not global. Sorry. Okay. So a collection of commonly followed accounting rules and standards for financial reporting. Now, these standards, if I wanted to follow, I will create a book code. So there are multiple book codes already been there. US standard that is already created. So point is that if you want to make these changes specifically as per your business, you can take and define the book code accordingly. But if you not define it, system will not stop you. You will basically having the cash or accrual both sides. There are other accounting setups as well: supplier, portal, expense, business assets, banking, funding, all this accounting setup. So I would not recommend anyone to go and change this setup. Whatever it would be, take it as it is. But if you wanted to, then you have to discuss with your finance team. You have to discuss the person related with the area. Like I wanted to make it intercompany accounting journal options. If you know those options, what it will be impacted, then you can enable or disable it. If you don't know, don't change it. How I know that this could be impacted? We have a guide, so you can open up the guide and find this information and then see that what is the impact of this one. Most of the information, some of the information I know very well, but most of the information as well I'm not aware of. That is one time setup made in the tenant because it impact overall tenant, not a single person or single company. So never go with this one. Just to view it, that's okay. If you ask me what is ID generator, right, I will explain in 2 minutes because I work normally on this point. But if you ask me some other options, like for example, this project. So what is a rate scale? What is a resource plan dates? That is okay. But if you ask me this one, probably I cannot answer. Probably I didn't work on it. Okay. So this is what that the overall tenants impact. The convention that we are working on this point. If you will keep it open, meaning that you will use the cash basis and both accounted. Okay, so in my case, I will create credit transaction as well and the cash transaction for my business. So that will remain intact when I define my finance structure. I don't need to define a separate book code in the financial structure, this one. we have completed our 4Cs. Any question on this 4Cs?
So the convention, right, Mehdi? So those are the default system default whenever it comes along with the tenant setup. So as you said, we should not be making any changes on those convention, the tenant setup, right? I am trying to understand actually. So will we have access to modify them, or is that something the only system admins are access?
Means system admin have the access.
Okay.
Right now, this user holds a system, so they can, like I can go with this system and then I can open up this one. But normally, it has not been given to anyone. Okay. So if
Okay,
I
got it.
click cancel, discard it, I'm not saving it. So
In
if I open up,
normally, we don't have even the access. If we need to something to change over there, we have to ask the security, and if they permission, then special permission for particular time period they open it and then close that security.
you're right. So here we have it's so here for this person, HCM is not been accessible. Only finance and payroll is accessible to add it this one. You can see in finance, if I type it, there are two options: tenant setup or data guide, that is custom dashboard something. But this is a task. But if I write up here HCM, the dashboard is there, but I'm not added this one, meaning that this users don't have to update the HCM area. Okay, so we have it's have the payroll. So if I add this one, for example, this is a payroll, and it's here you can see that a lot of options are there, but for USA, Canada, Journal, USA, Canada, because Workday offered this product for USA and Canada separately. If you want to go with the payroll, I'm giving you the example, okay? Australia, Canada, France, UK, and USA. Which country you wanted to use this payroll? So tenant setup basically one-time setup. If you want to make it enable or disable it, okay. Print multiple pay slip, that is enabled for administrator and self-service. Self-service means you can do it print yourself as well, but I want to disable for self-service. Only administrator can do it, and whenever it would be, system always gives alerts, which I will not accept it. I will discard it. Okay. So this is what the tenant setups is and convention that we can set it up on the as per your requirement. Okay. So now we have the 4 setup in our bucket, and we want to not have mixed up. Now we have completed our finance structure. Okay. Charts of account, we have built it up. Currency, we have built it up. Calendar is built up. Convention is built. Financial structure is there. Now this structure is standalone. And my business structure, if I go back, now stay. Once again, if I go down, so here, business structure, workday structure, and financial structures are ready now. But my business don't know what is a finance structure. My business means my company. Now, activity is how can I link or make a relation between business structure and finance structure. That is a point. So this is my task. How are we gonna do it in Workday? So go to the system, open up your company. That is, my company was TX space. My company is now here. I can directly search at my company, or I can find my company, view my company. The same page will be. New company is a report. Here you can see the same page is open up now. Over this company, I wanted to link with my financial structure. So how we're gonna do that? This is our activity. So we will do with the related action button. Go to the company, and here at the top we have added company accounting details. Once I will open up this page, at the top you can see the currency USD, from where it is coming. Anyone remember?
As part
From
of
where
the
it
definition of the company, so we gave the
yes.
currency.
So when we define this company, then we basically assign this USD. But if I close it here and view company hierarchy now, go to the related action button, and here I don't have any company related action, but in company I have related action with the name of company. Can anyone tell me why is it so? For company that we have it, this company option, but the hierarchy start with additional data, sorry, allocation, not with the company. But in company we have this options. Anyone who have idea why is that company holds this company edit information but not the hierarchy?
So, I mean, just correct me if I'm wrong. So, the company hierarchy is only for the related companies reporting purpose. If you want to get the reports from the following, whichever follows under that hierarchy, we'll get those details. That's the reason actually we are not having this USD or currency, or that's my understanding actually. Correct.
Who disagree with this or agree with this, SK? So I would recommend guys to use your name. It would be easy for us to identify and rather to have this naming convention SK. So SK has given a definition. So what is their correct definition, or anyone had any different concept in mind that company details are not been having in this hierarchy but in the company accounting details? Anyone who has a different thought? So
the complaint is the actual complaint itself, but for the hierarchy details, it just literally shows that the complaint is part of a group and it's not a specific company.
That's another correct. I agree with you. A specific company, that is a group, another good reason. So company is, yes, it's a group of multiple companies or multiple subsidiary company. The company is a subsidiary of my group. It's a subsidiary. Subsidiary means that has been some parent has been there in the finance is called subsidiary. So my case that I have TX group, that is main and company hierarchy, whereas main company XTX X space USA. The company don't have it because yes, SK was right that we are reporting here, not the transactions. Here at this level, we are having transaction and reporting both, whereas at the hierarchy, we are having only reporting. And the second one, BP, I think she has explained that is it's a group. Another good point. It's a grouping, not the specific. In my grouping, I have TX USA and TX UK both. That's the reason the transaction perspective we have company added accounting details. So transaction basically happen on the currency. Transaction happen based on calendar. But here we have the first one is USD now. This is the first time I just open up the accounting details. So this currency is USD is editable, meaning that I can change it right now if I wanted to change to GBP. Only one currency, you will select it for your company. If you want to change it right now. But if you perform any transaction within company, it will be gray out. You cannot change it. But if mistakenly you have selected, you made the transaction and later on you want to change, system will not allow you in any case. So you need to define another company to change their currency. So it is very important to be decided carefully at this moment. So that is USD.
Can I understand this as the base currency, Maddie?
Yes, that is your base currency or the functional currency. Yes, you are right. That your currency that we discussed last day, that is my base currency now. Once it is decided my base currency, this is USD, that then other currencies automatically selected as a foreign currency, whatever the number it is, other than this currency. Okay. So with my company structure or the business structure, within company structure, this is my business structure X space. And with company structure, now I'm assigning the financial structure. So first one is currency in a 4 C's in the financial structure we have selected. Now, currency rate type override. What is that? We will discuss. We have a dedicated concept of currency rate, foreign currency. We will discuss this point at this area. Okay. I'm make it open here, not but in coming future, and after 2 or 3 sessions, we will discuss currency rate in a detailed way. Then the fiscal schedule. Fiscal schedule is second C's, my C, whereas Workday call it. So I will call my fiscal schedule that was XTX and TX fiscal schedules. Once I selected, then there is alternate fiscal schedule that is coming. Alternate fiscal schedule we'll discuss in our next upcoming session as well. So right now, the first one is mandatory that we have selected. Second one is here, the second C's that we have it. Then we have alternate ledger currency setup that is correlate with my currency rate. We will discuss in upcoming sessions as well. Okay. And keep it open. This one point is as well. Now this is a third C that was accounting set. that we design it for my company, that is TX accounting setup. So what I'm doing right now, I am assigning financial structure. So the 3 C's we have selected: currency, calendar, and charts of account. Why I use these 4 C's? Normally in Oracle or other system, we use normally these 4 C's. That is easy to remember. Okay. But Workday name it differently. So don't confuse yourself. We use the word C, but here we are assigning different. It is easy to remember these 4 C's that we discuss it in our, for me, easy to remember. This is charts of account. Here we call it account set, currency, fiscal schedules, and here we call it cash basis. This is Workday term. Probably it would be difficult for me to remember these things, but if I remember this way, it is easy to map it with. Just a name change, but concepts are same. So that's why I use words 4 C's. It is easy for me to remember and then for you as well. But whenever for the interview, whenever they will ask you that what is the link between how you can design your finance if you wanted to link with your company, what are the mandatory areas that you need to define it? The first and foremost part is the accounting setup. And under accounting setup, we need to assign currency, fiscal schedules, and accounting sets. That is mandatory. And the last one mandatory is at the bottom. That is, if I click OK, system will throw me error. You can see this error. Reverse debit credit rule. This is the fourth mandatory area. We have a dedicated session on this reversal concept. Right now, I am making it a reverse debit and credit. Okay, we will discuss this point in a detailed way in our GL activity. Okay, there are other fields are been available which are optional but not mandatory. So a few of them we will discuss those. If you have two different accounting sets or charts of account, then you can design it here the standard charts of a corporate. Which one will be defaulted? Meaning that whenever you will open up for this company, the defaulted would be TX. So, but if you have only one, you don't need to define alternate. Then there are certain rules. We will discuss those rules: control rules, posting rules, translation rules, and daily balance rules. These rules we will discuss in our GL activity. So I am this one as well. We will discuss in detail way in the later. Now this is the reporting book. If you remember in the edit and setup, we have cash basis. So these were the book that was there. IFRS adjustments there, IFRS book, local gap adjustment, US gap, that book are been defined. I will explain this book concepts, but now, again, this one is a separate concept that why we need to maintain these kind of books. First one is that accounting standard linked with this book, that either it is I wanted to make separate books for cash basis standards or accrual basis standards, then I can maintain two different books. We will have a discussion on this point. So that is separate session. We will discuss this one as well. Translation activity, that is upcoming activity, translation and consolidation, dedicated one, at least 2 session we require to discuss this translation and consolidation. So I'm parking this one as well. So main areas, all the options except mandatory, which is based off my setup, I made it here update, but don't worry about it. We will discuss other areas as well. Okay.
So in case, Maddie, sorry, in the TX group, under the TX group, we have Tesla space and everything, right? So for Tesla and space also, right? So we will create two different account sets, right? Two different
Obviously.
account sets, and we will add that in the account set, in the multiple account sets, right? Okay.
Yes, for each company, you have to set it up. This is for my X-Space US company. Now I have just completed. Click OK, system has accepted, and click done. So my accounting setup for this company is completed. Now I have to go with the second company, TX UK. So that is Twitter UK. I need to set up the accounting details of this company as well as I did for US company. So here GBP is automatically coming from this company. Fiscal schedules is TX schedules, and account sets that we have it here. So this is the right time that you can change it if you want to. If you don't want to, then that would be if you perform any transaction on this company, onward it will not be changeable. So you have to be careful. Again, here I will place it keep debit, credit, and reverse sign. Click OK. So what I will do it here, the X space, it's not X space root. Now here I make one change it's here because what I'm doing, I'm changing my account set. I'm using by default, I don't need to define it, the values, it is already there, more than 700 values. So I will use a default one. Definition is the same. So I just make it an update for my corporate here. So, but that is very important. You have to be very careful when you are having two companies with the same group that this is a condition. That's why I'm changing right now. So in future, if we make this transaction, it will not create any problem for me. So here I'm using the same account set for these two companies. We will discuss this point again in our translation and consolidation for this account set.
What is this corporate? When did you created this corporate?
Sorry, corporate what?
You just selected accounting set something, right? Yeah.
Okay, this is a predefined Workday corporate account sets. If I open up, this is a predefined Workday account set where we have 179 values used by 62 companies.
So this is nothing but it's like account set we have created like that. It is by default given by Workday?
Yes, yeah. This is by default given by Workday on the test tenant, not on the production tenant. Production tenant, you have to define the same way that I did last time. So TX account set. So here, where we define each and every 19 values are there.
Yeah, 19
where we define each and every values. I don't want to come again, define again and again. They are already used this value. So that is basically helpful for me.
Okay.
If you want to use your account set, no problem. So this is one that 179 values, a lot of this has been defined.
So what you recommend to us? So should we use a default corporate one or the customized account setup which we have set up earlier?
Use corporate so that you can focus on the main activity. Defining an assignment is a simple that we have discussed. Use the corporate, so it would be easy for you to manage rather to define each and every value again and again.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so we have now the three structure, the debate that we started on a day one, that these three structures that we need to discuss and that we need to link those structures. One is business, one is Workday, one is financial, and one is the people. The discussion we started from day one. Now we have correlated this financial structure and we already correlated or make a relation of this people structure as well. And people structure is linked with, if anyone can guess how we link this people structure? Already we did it. Anyone who have remembered this point? Exactly. Supervisory organization, when we define it and relate with our company with cost center with region, the people structure has already been set it up. One supervisory organization or multiple, it's up to you, but one is mandatory for the finance. So we define one and then we have completed our four structures now. We are now move on to our main, if it is okay, good to go. Any question on this point? No? So it is your assignment now to complete your structure till by this weekend. And on Monday, I asked already that we will review yours, how it would be. Anyone face any challenge or error or things are not clear, drop your message in the ZaranTech portal and I will reply you there. Okay.
So finance chart of accounts will come under the finance structure. The chart of accounts and everything is come under the financial structure. And am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, 4Cs will come in. What about the Workday structure when it comes to?
You go to if I go up once again, if I go up and we discuss these structure very detailedly.
Yeah.
These are the things that we discuss one by one. Reorganizations.
Okay. Reorganization will come under Workday structure. But supervisory also coming under that only, right? Workday structure? No?
We discuss this. Reorganization, supervisory company, region, we define it, cost center, locations.
You said it's a people structure, right?
No, only the supervisory organization control the people structure.
People structure, okay.
That is also part of your Workday structure. That is the correlation. Now, company is linked with my financial structure. So we have basically financial structure link with here. And with this company, we link company, region, cost center will link with supervisory because that is my people structure.
Okay.
And at the organization, region, cost center, location, that was my business structure.
We need to assign the roles also, right? Account manager, accountant, both also in financial structure.
Yeah, that we will come. That is the next activity. Till the structure is completed. Now, the structure accessibility part, that how it would be, we will discuss in a separate way. But structure perspective, this is for people as well as the work. This is for finance as well as for Workday. Business as well. Business is linked with all the areas. And all of these areas linked with reorganization at the top. One reorganization. So basically it's a hierarchy. People structure, supervisory organization, reorganization. Financial structure, company, and then reorganization and supervisory organization. Business, region, and then reorganization and supervisory organization. We link it. We relate it. Cost center is for business, supervisory organization, reorganization. We linked it. Location, we already at the first stage linked with our supervisory organization. So all of these structures are basically within one picture is been linked and relate with each other. Defining is a separate activity and make a relation is a separate activity. We did it parallel way. Okay. Any question on this point now? So if I go up once again, just to clarify further. So here my organization structure linked with the people structure, the financial structure. The financial structure, if I place it here, mapping this one, this is related with companies. This is the proper way that we have it. And those financial structure is then linked with my company here. So supervisory organizations, if I take it upward, and here that would be with the company. So regions, I define it regions with the regions already. And divisions, I have skipped it, but you can define with the divisions.
One quick question. So if at all, if you go in a company and trying to work on a finance, our focus is a finance, right? So HCM already defines this supervisory organization, reorganization, location, divisions, and everything. So we will take that structure and try to add our finance structure to it, or how that will work?
Yeah. If already HCM is already there, you don't need to define supervisory organization. Within supervisory organization, you define and relate with that. Which supervisory organization relate with which company? Because supervisory organization is people structure. You have to hire the people within the company, within the region, or within the cost center. So basically, supervisory organizations. This is the HCM concept. Don't confuse now. Relate with each and every area where you want to hire people. So you have to define the supervisory organization. Sorry, on each level wherever you want to hire people. I want to hire the people on the cost center or department basis. So I need to a supervisory organization at the department as well. But some companies or small companies are hiring people on the company. So they just need to have one supervisory organization, not as a department, but as a company only. So whatever level would be is already there. You just need to define the company and then make a relation or the link with this supervisory organization, and rest of the activities will be startup for finance.
So if the HCM is not implemented, then you have to create everything, like supervisor from the reorganization to every level you have to create.
Yes, you're right. You have to create each and everything. Otherwise, that will, your structure is not completed, your setup will not be completed. So here, each level we discuss in a detailed way, in depth, and define it in my system, which is mandatory and that required to. Okay.
So this will be like we will be working with the HCM folks, right? So I mean, in case if they're defined, even if they're defined also, even if they are not defined also, we will need to work with them. So this is what we are going to define, and we'll need to have a meeting with them, and we have to discuss with them, right? I mean, in the real time project, how it's going to happen.
For sure. Without HCM, you incomplete because you have to hire people for your financial activities. You need to hire business finance manager. You need to hire assistant finance manager. You need to hire the accounts payable specialist.
Controller.
So those people hire under supervisory organization in the HCM area. So you need to be aligned with the HCM that how they will hire the people. If it is a multinational company or big company, then they may hire the people on a department wise. But as I said, it is a small company. My company is it's just been established 1 week before. So I will hire the people on the company basis, the CEO of the company. I am myself, but I need a marketing manager. So I will hire the person on the company basis, not the department. But in case in future that would be, then I can extend my structures based my department. System provides this flexibility. That is not the hard and fast rule. You always define or hire the people on the company wise. You can extend it if you want to. So there are certain restrictions. If you follow with the Workday for finance, you that is there. But HCM perspective, certain restrictions also been there. But that is a different topic. But that is, and then you can hire people as per your business or financial structures. So this was the first activity that we have. The whole picture is completed. Now my structure are ready. My business are ready. I have completed my setup and implementation. So in the implementation methodology, if I go for the implementation methodology, so I just completed which phase? I just completed my configuration phase. Sorry, this is configuration phase. We have just completed. We built up the structure. We built up all the areas now. Now, after this one, we are going to have the testing phase. That the structure we built, configuration we did, either it is up to the mark of my business or not. We will see this one in the SIT and unit testing. This configuration, we built it up only for the GL. Again, remember, for our basic company and where the GL is there. Still AP, AR, CM and expense configuration is pending, not yet started. But when we started our AP module, then obviously we will start the configuration in this training, and then we will have a testing as well. Okay, so right now I have completed my GL, so I can test my system. And how can I test my system? That GL configuration is up and running, and that is correct. That my account sets, my calendar, my currency is accurate. The first way to verify this structure is create journal. Create journal. I couldn't see any create journal here. So here it means that I cannot perform the journal activity. So it might be here. The issue or the point is here is right now is my access. The second point that has been highlighted earlier by someone, I don't know the name, but that is the roles access, who can perform which activity. Now this is the activity that roles that we need to assign to those people, but unfortunately this
Yes,
is
we need to sign a proxy, Mary.
I couldn't see that any person there. Let me check.
Yeah, I tried Teresa. I'm not able to find out exactly.
Logan McNeil.
Yeah,
You
Logan.
are able to find it?
Logan McNeil.
No, Teresa, I'm unable to.
Teresa also good, but Logan have a full access, so any kind of Logan can do anything.
Yeah, I know, but actually, account management, account control, everything in the under, like Teresa name. And I tried. I could not find her.
Just give me one. Let me check. No, this person don't have it. Start proxy login.
Then I have to change my account manager name. Account. Like I added as a Teresa. I could not find out her.
You couldn't find it, yeah? And this is a challenge. That's a
She added to system after 2020. Maybe there is a reason. Maybe I could not find out because when I created my company, I showed as a 2000, but actually assigned her role. But when before 2000 means we cannot find out her. Maybe I think maybe I need to change the date available to date. I don't know, but somehow I could not find out her.
yeah. Let me explain for the rest of the people. Then just give me.
See the structure if and take the anything from the higher management or head of the HR, then they can.
Yeah, basically the concept of roles. So there are. This is a in roles we will discuss in a detailed way in our Workday security. So we have a dedicated at least 2 or 3 sessions on the Workday security, and that we will cover it up Workday architect work. So this is where we discuss the roles in a detailed way. So right now, I'm just assigning the roles. So follow it as it is, as I am doing, and then we'll see that we can manage this stuff. So for the role assignments, that is for your company, even you have been hired for any organizations, you have to, they will give you some authority to perform certain activities. Similarly, in Workday, If you are authorized, if you want to be authorized to perform certain activity, you must have certain roles. And that roles are basically assigned at different levels, and company is one of them. We will discuss those levels where we can assign or play with the roles. But right now I'm assigning at the company level. And here, if I go down, and here we have assign roles. Okay, they don't give me the access basically. Someone from the ZaranTech is here. So we will discuss this point in a detailed way. But right now, yeah, basically there are certain privileges are not been given for this person. Let me check here if I stop proxy. Now find my TXX space. Yeah, role assign is there, and if I take this one into 2000, I just randomly let me check, and then I will explain this thing, guys. Hold on for a moment. I need to check this content is there, and is there my name is. Let me check quickly. Tom Brady. That is.
Can you type there? Maybe if you can find out accountant, account manager, Teresa name, just if you don't mind. Can you try to find out?
Teresa, see the Teresa don't have it. I need to assign to Tom Brady.
Well, I find out with Logan McNeil. So civil vice president, human resource,
here.
that could be work.
Okay, let me, no problem. We can assign to multiple peoples. Logan McNeil, but that is not available on the proxy. That is a control that they made it here. Even I assign to Teresa. Even I can assign this one to Teresa.
Yeah, she's there.
Just give me 1 minute. Let me make it this way so that I can. I will explain this thing in a while.
Yeah.
That is not coming.
Write down Logan McNeil, ALOG.
Coming. But now I have a signed thing, so let me check that if I have it checked. So that is coming. So okay, fine, that is okay.
It's coming, yeah.
Okay, so this point I just assign in a quick way to verify the things that has been there. So that has been appear up now. So how it would be, we will discuss this point. So we will discuss the roles and their assignments and our financial setup verification. We will start at this thing. Okay, this is our activity. We will discuss the role and assignments in a detailed way, and then I will explain the financial setup verification. Okay, any question till now?
In real-time project, right, Maddie? So in case if we face any these access related issues, right, the roles and the security related, so there will be Workday administrator whom we need to contact and get this thing done after raising a request or whatever if required. So how it's going to work?
We will discuss this point, roles and their challenges. Okay.
So, yes, a quick question. In the first class, we talked about the configuration workbook, right?
Yeah.
This is what we are doing is a configuration, right? Once it's signed off, the way we have built the all the structure, defined the structure, right?
Yes.
So once this has been approved, then that means we have finished the configure architect configure stage, right? Once this config workbook is done. And is this the same format that every project follows, like a config?
Yes,
Okay.
the same format. If it is a first time implementation, then we take up the things from business structure from scratch. Until now, we have completed our GL configuration. That's the one area that we have completed. Now we want to verify that or test it. Basically, not verify, test it that my configuration is up to the mark or not. That's our next activity, because who will verify, who will test it that configuration is as per business requirement or up to the mark, that it is our next activity. But till now the configuration is it's been set it up that we have concluded.
So on the same point, right? Like, does Workday offer any template for workbooks, or is it just finance you do? Because I know the data gathering, people doing conversions, right? They use some kind of data gathering workbooks, right? Something like that.
That's a good question. That's you highlighted this point, and then now Workday standards. We will talk about Workday standards. So there is a concept of FDM. We will discuss this point in detail way. This is a good point that you have highlighted here. I will explain this one. The Workday standards configuration. Why? What is a Workday standard? They follow it to verify or to complete financial structure or financial setup or financial configuration. So these 3 points we will discuss. 4 points. That is our next day agenda. Okay, so we can comply the Workday standards. That is the point. Initially, I have to discuss before starting the financial, but that skipped from my mind. But it has been up now, so I will discuss in our FTM. What is FTM? Why we need to have it? What is the core concept here for this one? Any other question from this in this activity?
Yeah, last time you said with the AI, how the workday structure can be defined. Something you were able to talk about that.
You should remind me this AI part as well. I will again 15 or 10 minutes I need to spend it on in the AI sites is correlate with our FTM. So we will discuss this FTM.
Thank you.